Hi guys, welcome to Sac Perspective. My name is Latif and today I'm trying to explain Borussia Dortmund's high-pressing tactical analysis. Before starting video, I want to say that if you want to check only my contents, you can have a look at my personal channel Football Latif. And also don't forget to check out my blog and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are below. First of all, about Borussia Dortmund's high pressing. All problems happen because of pressing timings. When players close the opponent's one player to press, they give opponent's player time to think what he has to do with the ball or without the ball. And this time, opponent players can break high pressing more comfortably, and when they break, they can find more space than usual because to press high, Dortmund players have to close to forward. So when opponents can break the high pressing, they can play directly to score goal. Borussia Dortmund used two different formations, 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1. There are not big changes between these two formations. Let's start with 4-3-3. When they play with 4-3-3 lineup, wingers stay at all spaces and right or left center midfielders close center forward to help him about pressing. Defensive midfielder takes position in front of the defense line and doesn't support pressing so much. He covers spaces between defense and midfield lines. Also, Dortmund's defense line doesn't take position closer to midfield line, and this time, Dortmund's defense line and defensive midfielder could be too far away from the team, and opponent players can benefit from this situation. Because when forward players press high and right and left center midfielders close to forward to support pressing, automatically, the distance between Dortmund's defensive midfielder, defense line and the rest of the team becomes more, and opponent's players can use this space to break Dortmund's high pressing. Defenders follow opponent's players too much and try not to miss them defense lines behind. But with that positioning, defenders break the defense line's line and this time, they can't use an offside trap. And also when one of the defenders close to defense lines behind to follow opponent's player, this defender creates an extra free space for opponent's other players between Dortmund's defense and midfield lines. Also, because defense line doesn't take position closer to midfielders, opponent players can find space between Dortmund's defense and midfield lines comfortably. Right or left center midfielder could close to the opposite wing too much when the ball is in the opposite wing too. This time, of course they have an extra player in the opposite wing to support pressing, but if opponents can pass the ball from their defense one wing to the other wing, Dortmund can't support the other wing about pressing, and opponents can make game comfortably. When the ball is in wing, if opponent's one player is free between Dortmund's forward and midfield line central areas, center forward close to this player and covers him. Normally covering this player is right or left center midfielder's role, but sometimes center midfielders can't cover because they could have different roles. For example, if right or left center midfielder closes to opponent's one of the defenders to support four players about pressing, opponent's one of the midfielders could be free, and this time, Dortmund center forward closes to this player and covers him. But the problem is, at the same time, if opponent's defender can pull center forward to himself and convince center forward that his position is dangerous, center forward could close to opponent's defender too much and can't cover midfielder at the same time. To cover free midfielder, already center forward has to be ready and the distance between midfielder and center forward shouldn't be too much, or center forward can't shift to midfielder quickly and opponents can make game. If they want to press aggressively and opponent defense players pass the ball right to left or left to right, and Dortmund's fullbacks don't support high pressing in forward or midfield, opponents can break Dortmund's high pressing comfortably. Because when the ball goes to one wing to another, Dortmund's center forward presses to a stopper, and when the ball goes to other stopper, Dortmund's right winger close to this stopper. Now, if Dortmund's fullbacks don't support pressing, Dortmund's center midfielder, who is also closer to the ball, has to cover opponent's one midfielder and fullback at the same time. If they would not press aggressively, it wouldn't be a big problem because center midfielder would take position centrally and in all space, He wouldn't press the fullback and go back slowly, so he would drop opponent's tempo, and because opponents both players were not completely free, even opponent could make game, opponents couldn't play quickly and it would drop opponent's transition attack strength. As I said before, if they want to press aggressively and opponent defense players pass the ball right to left or left to right, and Dortmund's fullbacks don't support high pressing in forward or midfield, opponents can break Dortmund's high pressing comfortably. When Dortmund are in 4-2-3-1, same things happen, because this time, when center forward mates with opponent's one stopper and one winger shifts to the other stopper, again opponent's fullback, which one normally mates with Dortmund's winger, which winger now covers opponent's one stopper, will be free. And this time, Dortmund's one defensive midfielder has to cover this free fullback. But the problem is, the distance between defensive midfielder and opponent's fullback is too much, because defensive midfielder was in center, and shifting wing from center can't be quick because of the distance. So this time, fullback finds so much space and from fullback, opponents can make game under pressure. To fullback to support forward, stoppers have to cover fullback's backs. But the problem is, because the distance between stoppers and opponent forward players is too much, they can't shift to opponent players quickly. They go back instead of closing to forward. And it drops their high pressing quality because when defenders go back, the distance between defense and midfield line becomes more. So opponent players can find space in between Dortmund's defense and midfield lines, and also fullbacks can't support forward about high pressing all the time. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope this video can be beneficial for you. Have a nice day and may football be with you.